This video took quite a while. It took a long time, but here we are. It's finally here. So what if I told you that just for $200, you could get a hearing aid that outperforms some models costing $1,000 or more? Well, let me introduce you to the Apple AirPod Pro 2. Probably the most surprising contender in the world of over-the-counter hearing aids right now. Now, before we get started, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be saying a lot of really nice things and pointing out a lot of great features about these AirPods, but at the same time, they're not going to be practical as dedicated hearing aids. You're not going to be able to replace your hearing aids with these. There's just a lot of great features that I want to point out, and then I'm also going to point out some of the drawbacks, which there's quite a few. Now, I don't have any kind of affiliation with Apple. They're not paying me to say any of this. I just want to point out all the cool things that they're developing. And, when they do decide to make a dedicated pair of hearing aids, I think they're going to be amazing and really change the industry. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get back to the review. So at $200 or even $179 if you can catch a deal like I did at Costco, these AirPods come packed with features that rival or even surpass many more expensive hearing aids. The first thing that stood out to me when I first tested these was their fantastic noise suppression. For those of you who follow my channel, you guys know this is always the first thing I test. Why? Because if a hearing aid can't handle noisy environments, it's not going to help you much in real-world situations. And let's face it, there's always going to be background noise. If you work in a noisy place like I do, you need something that performs, and these definitely deliver. Now, here's where the AirPods truly blew me away. Noise cancellation, not noise reduction, noise cancellation. This is a feature I've never seen in a hearing aid before, and it's a game changer. On top of that, the streaming sound quality is absolutely incredible. Why? Because these are actually designed as headphones for music lovers like myself. So whether you're on a phone call, watching YouTube, listening to music, or catching up on your favorite podcasts, the sound quality is unmatched. But as with anything, they're not perfect. The battery life falls short compared to traditional hearing aids. And the amplification in hearing aid mode isn't as strong as you'd get with a dedicated hearing aid. But still, for $200, these are packed with potential, and I can't wait to show you why they might just be the best hearing aid alternative on the market today. Now, before we dive in, let me know in the comments, are you currently using hearing aids? And have you ever considered the Apple AirPod Pros for hearing loss? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, so leave them in the comments. Now, let's talk about my first impressions. I'll admit I was skeptical when I first tried the AirPods as hearing aids. They're marketed as earbuds, again, for music lovers. So I wasn't expecting much when it came to their performance as hearing aids. The only reason I decided to give them a shot is because of you guys, the viewers. I received so many comments from you guys submitting your feedback and sharing your experience and how well they work that I really had no choice but to actually try them. But let me tell you, they absolutely blew me away. So traditional hearing aids, including the over-the-counter models, are designed to amplify voices and the sounds you want to hear while minimizing unwanted noise. And these AirPod Pro 2s can do the same. Prescription and higher-end OTC hearing aids can be programmed based on your audiogram. Now, with the latest update from Apple, these AirPod Pro 2s can do the same, again at only $200. The first thing that stood out to me, even before trying them on, was the build quality. A lot of over-the-counter hearing aids that I've tested feel light, plasticky, and frankly, just really cheap. But the moment I took these out of the box, I was impressed. They feel like premium $500 headphones. Of course, this level of craftsmanship is just something that I've come to expect from Apple, and the AirPods deliver. And if I'm being honest, even if these didn't have a hearing aid function, they'd still be worth every penny in my opinion, just as headphones. Now, again, like I said, I am a music lover. I always have been. When I was 11 years old, I remember I would crank up the Silverchair or Nirvana. I had a badass sound system when I was younger, and I would read an entire Goosebump book just listening to music all day. And nothing's really changed. I still love music, and it's been a big part of my life since I was a kid. The sound quality, the real actual bass, and the crisp, clear sound when using these to listen to music is absolutely fantastic. Now, I actually bought these myself. I shelled out the $180 just to do the review, and I was actually planning on returning these when the review was done. Well, needless to say, I'm keeping them. and these are now the only headphones I use when I want to listen to music. They also look and feel amazing. They're super comfortable, and they stay in place whether I'm working out at the gym or just going about my day-to-day. Now, before this, the highest quality OTC hearing aid that I reviewed and tested was probably the Orca 2. They're about $1,900, and they were actually designed by somebody who used to work at Apple. But I'd say the AirPod Pro 2s are on the same level or even better when it comes to just overall design and quality. And I just want to thank you guys. I'm so glad that one of you encouraged me to try these things because they've completely exceeded my expectations. Now, I want to talk about some of the key features that really make these viable options for hearing aid users. First up is the noise suppression and the noise cancellation. So here's the deal. Without effective noise suppression, even the best hearing aids in the world won't really help you much. If you're trying to have a conversation with a friend, but all you can hear is the hum of the air conditioner, people chatting in the background, or footsteps echoing around you, those hearing aids aren't doing their job. What really sets prescription hearing aids apart is their advanced noise suppression technology. So with each new generation, each new iteration, manufacturers focus on one thing: improving the ability to amplify voices while filtering out the noise that makes conversations hard to follow. It's easy to make voices louder, all right? It's much harder to separate those voices from the background. That's why noise reduction is always a top priority with hearing aid development. Some over-the-counter hearing aids attempt this, but very few actually succeed. This is where the AirPod Pro 2s really shine. The noise reduction works. So when I test a new hearing aid, the first thing I do is take it to work at Costco, a very noisy environment, and I see if it can handle all the chaos. There's a lot. For those of you familiar with my channel, you already know this is my go-to test. But for those of you who are new here, my name's Brian. How you doing? And I'm a licensed hearing care practitioner, and I help people select and I program hearing aids that suit their specific needs. If a hearing aid can help me hear my coworkers and all of my patients at Costco, it gets my seal of approval. And let me tell you, these AirPods definitely pass the test. So let's talk about the noise cancellation. Very different than noise suppression. So the AirPods, whenever I say AirPod, just assume I'm saying the Apple AirPod Pro 2, because that is a mouthful, all right? So I'm talking about these. The AirPods have something I've never seen in any other hearing aid, and that is the active noise cancellation, not suppression. This feature is truly a game changer. Now, let me explain why. So picture this, guys. I'm in the break room trying to catch up on YouTube videos or listening to my Joe Rogan podcast or learning about the stock market. I'm totally getting into the stock market. And I also constantly watch videos and news on new hearing aid technologies coming out. So the room is noisy, all right? Coworkers chatting, walkie-talkies blaring because, let's face it, some of them probably need hearing aids too. So they've got their walkie-talkies just cranked. I won't say any names. Now, normally, all that ambient noise would just be blasting through my hearing aids, drowning out whatever I'm trying to listen to. But with the AirPod Pro 2s, the noise cancellation eliminates all of that. When I first tried these on and first took them out of the package, I was at home watching TV, the air conditioner was running, I popped them in and suddenly just dead silence. I actually thought the TV turned off or maybe the power went out or something because it was just silent, completely silent, 100%. But nope, the TV was still on, the air conditioner was still on. I took the AirPods out and all the noise just came rushing back in. That was my first experience with active noise cancellation, and it just completely blew me away. It was incredible. I want you guys to try it. So now I don't wear anything else to the gym. With these AirPods, I can tune out the world, all right, uninterrupted. And if someone starts talking to me, I don't even have to take them out. Thanks to a setting called conversational awareness built into the iPhone software, the noise cancellation automatically pauses when someone starts talking to me, and I can hear them clearly without missing a beat. It's really amazing. Now, something I'm always mentioning in these reviews is the wax filter system. So that's another feature that sets these apart, is their really innovative wax filter system, a first for this type of hearing aid, this form factor. So I've reviewed several hearing aids that mimic the wireless earbud style, including the Jabra Enhance Plus, which was actually made by a leading hearing aid manufacturer. I talk about them all the time, GN. So while the Jabra hearing aids were affordable around like $600, maybe $800, they didn't look like traditional hearing aids. That was one of the cool things about them. They looked more modern, but they had one big flaw. no replaceable wax filters. If wax gets built up in the receiver, there was no way to clean it out, effectively turning your hearing aids into way overpriced earplugs. So this has been a recurring issue with other earbud style hearing aids I've tested. Most rely on a permanent screen or just like a mesh to block the wax out. But these aren't replaceable, making the devices prone to clogging over time. I've always advised against hearing aids without disposable wax filters because eventually they will become useless. But with the AirPod Pro 2s, they nailed it. Not only do the tips or domes come with a built-in screen or mesh filter built into the tip, there's also a secondary wire mesh safeguard within the device itself. When the tips get clogged up with wax, you can just simply remove them. You wash them with soapy water and pop them back on. It's such a simple yet effective system. And I really hope other manufacturers are taking notes. This is the kind of innovation that this industry needs. Another standout feature is the way the domes actually attach to the device. Check this out. The domes are very, very secure and very hard to actually pull off, which is actually a good thing. It means they won't come off in your ear canal. A problem I've seen far too often with some OTC and even prescription hearing aids. I can't tell you how many people have come to me with domes lodged deep into their ear canals, resulting in a trip to their ENT. Now, one prescription hearing aid manufacturer, WS Audiology, they had a fantastic solution just a few years ago. They were called click domes. It was probably the best system I've ever seen, but sadly, for whatever reason, they abandoned it. Their newer domes come off way too easily, and it's kind of been a step backward. Thankfully, Apple has nailed it with their secure dome attachment on the AirPods Pro 2. It's innovative, it's strong, and it solves a problem that has plagued hearing aid users for years. You don't want to be that person with a dome stuck in your canal, trust me. Now let's talk about the streaming. One of the biggest weaknesses of over-the-counter and even most prescription hearing aids is their terrible streaming sound quality. We talk about this all the time. But let's be honest, hearing aids aren't even designed for music, right? They're built to help you hear people talking and understand dialogue better, not to deliver deep bass or crisp audio for music. But here's the thing, these AirPod Pro 2s are headphones first. They're designed for music, and they just so happen to have an incredible hearing aid feature. When it comes to music, podcasts, videos, the sound quality is unmatched. In fact, these are some of the best sounding headphones I've ever heard. If you're a music lover who also has hearing loss, I say give these a shot. The sound quality is better than any hearing aid I've tested when it comes to music, streaming, etc. Whether we're talking about OTC or prescription. And honestly, it even outperforms most wireless headphones I've used. I've never had a pair of headphones, wireless earbuds that sounded this good with music. I used to think streaming was just a secondary function for hearing aids. But after reading so many of your guys' comments from you, the viewers, who actually rely on streaming every day, I've completely changed my perspective. You guys made me do a 180. For instance, imagine you're in the hospital, okay? You're trying to talk to your family on the phone, but your hearing aids won't stay connected. How many of you had that happen? Maybe only one side works, the audio keeps cutting in and out, or the streaming quality just gets so bad that you can't even understand the conversation. That is a huge problem. One you won't face with the AirPods. Why? Because they're actually made for the iPhone. With Bluetooth 5.3, these AirPods deliver the best sound quality I've heard and provide a reliable, consistent, seamless connection to your phone. No dropouts, no issues, just consistent, crystal clear audio. Now, to be fair, there's one hearing aid manufacturer that comes close to having that crazy good Bluetooth connection, and that's Sonova, which makes Phonak hearing aids and the KS9 and KS10s from Costco. But even those don't match the AirPods performance when it comes to streaming and just good, reliable connection. And when you add the noise cancellation into the mix, it's a game changer. Imagine being on a phone call, all right, and just being able to completely isolate yourself in this like virtual soundproof booth. That's how it is. It's just you and the person you're talking to on the phone. The noise around you just disappears, as if the other people in the room are on another planet. You won't hear them at all. For streaming phone calls, music, videos, whatever you're doing, the AirPods Pro 2 are hands down the best option out there, period. Now, another huge thing is the programmability. So when I say the AirPod Pro 2s are designed for music and can also amplify sounds like hearing aids, it's not just, that part of it isn't just a bonus feature. It's so much more than that. These wireless earbuds are fully programmable, and they're tailored to your specific hearing needs based on your audiogram, like a actual programmable hearing aid. A few months ago, if you wanted to program these for hearing loss, you had to either upload a picture of your audiogram or manually enter in all of your thresholds. But with a recent update, Apple took things to a whole new level. Now you can actually perform a hearing test directly on your iPhone. Now, let me tell you, this isn't the basic bare bones hearing test you find in other OTC hearing aids. Most hearing aid apps only test a few frequencies, making them feel more like a quick screening than an actual test, but not with the AirPods. The hearing test on the iPhone is extensive. It takes time going through a wide range of frequencies for both your left and your right ear. In fact, it's the most in-depth hearing test I've ever done on a phone, period. In my opinion, this shows that Apple is serious about the hearing aid functionality of these devices. Another great thing, you don't even have to download an app. Everything, the controls, the hearing test, all the adjustments you can make, is all built in natively to the iPhone itself. No installations, no fuss. Now, here's something I said before, and I'll say it again. If you are a hearing aid user, you're going to want an iPhone, all right? The compatibility with hearing aids is unmatched. The iPhone was built with hearing aids in mind, offering seamless integration for adjustments and streaming. With the AirPods Pro 2, you can do everything directly from your iPhone, and the experience is flawless. Now, speaking of all these great options, well, what does it look like? How do you do it? How do you connect them? Well, let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so before we get into that, I do want to just say a couple things. These AirPods are super, super advanced, way more, and these features that we're about to look at, some of them are more advanced than any prescription hearing aid, premium prescription hearing aid I've ever fit. There's just so many options and so many great features that hearing aids don't even have, and it's awesome. But one of the drawbacks to that is the options and the way they're set up. I mean, the initial setup's easy, but all the different options you have, it's just very, very convoluted and can be very confusing finding all these options and getting everything configured and learning what everything does. But that's what I'm here for. We're going to just go through a quick brief overview of all the different options and where to find them. Now, one of the coolest things about these is the initial setup is super easy. That part is very, very simple, very straightforward. All you do is you just open up your Apple AirPod case and they're connected to your phone. It's that easy. So let's check that out, and then we will go through all the different options and features that you can expect from these using the hearing aid mode. So first thing you're going to do to get them connected is go ahead and just open up your Apple AirPod case. And as soon as you open that up, as long as it's got power, it's going to find it on your phone. You just go ahead and hit connect, and then it's going to have you hold the button on the back of the case. Just hold it down until you're done, and boom, it'll make a little sound and you are good to go. They are connected. All right, so we got them connected. They're good to go. If you go to your settings, you're going to see them. All right, you're just going to go to Bluetooth, and they're right there on top. All right, so this is actually where you're going to get to some of the setup options. All right, so you're just going to hit the little I next to the AirPods, and then you're going to go to where it says take a hearing test. All right, so click on take a hearing test. It's going to ask you a couple questions. All right, so no, I don't have any allergies. No, I have not been in a loud environment. Yes, I'm 18 or older. Hit next. And then it's going to tell you, well, you got to put the things in your ears, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And then you hit next. Make sure you're obviously in a nice quiet room. It says I'm okay. Make sure they're in the correct ear. Duh. Go ahead and hit next. Start the check. All right, guys, so once you get done with all the preliminary stuff, it made sure that you're in a nice quiet room. There's not too much noise. You've got the AirPods in correctly. It does like a test sound to make sure that you're getting all the sound and none of it's leaking out. Then you're going to be ready for the test. It is super easy. First, you're going to go through the left ear, and then once it tests all the frequencies for the left ear, it's going to start with the right ear and go through all the same frequencies. And it is just like a test that you would have at, in a soundproof booth at an office. And it'll do the entire test for the left and the right ear. Once you're done with the left and the right ear, the test is done, and you just hit the button that says set up hearing aid, and you are good to go. All right, guys, so we got the hearing test done. They're set up as hearing aids. Now I'm going to show you where to do your quick adjustments. These are going to be most of the adjustments you're going to be making on the fly. All right, so that's going to be by pulling down the screen from the top. and getting to these settings. And the setting on the right there that shows the AirPods, that's where your main adjustments are going to be. So the right side controls the volume of the hearing aids, as in the microphone volume or the amplification level. So just like if you were to change the volume using the buttons on the back of your hearing aid, that's what this does. All right. And then the left side is going to control your streaming volume. So your YouTube videos, your podcast, your music. So let's just say you're wearing traditional prescription hearing aids. Somebody comes up and starts talking to you at the gym. What you would do with your prescription hearing aids is turn down your streaming volume and then maybe turn up your amplification, or use the buttons on the back of your hearing aid. So this hearing aid volume, this streaming volume. And then at the bottom, you've got your other controls. We're going to go into this a little bit more depth, but the left side, this is where you would change your noise cancellation or turn it on. Transparency is going to allow you to basically hear the sounds from your environment while still wearing your earbuds. And then noise cancellation is going to completely get rid of all noise, absolutely everything. That's probably the coolest part of these earbuds. And then adaptive mode, what that's going to do is that's going to blend the noise cancellation and the transparency mode together. Basically, it's going to automatically adjust the level of noise reduction based on your surroundings. I don't use it. I use either transparent or noise cancellation. So there's your quick settings. All right. And then you've got some more settings down here at the bottom. And this is kind of another quick menu for you to change some of the things like the amount of amplification. Again, you could change the balance. You can change the tone from, what they call brighter or darker. I like to say, high frequency, low frequency. So towards the sun, it's going to be more, high frequency sound, more treble. And then towards the solid dot there, that's your darker sound, your more lows and bassy sound. And then you can also increase or reduce the noise reduction. All right. And then one other thing you can do is conversation boost. We're going to talk about that too. That's basically a front focus mode. That's going to focus on the person in front of you. And then you've got your background sounds for all you folks that suffer from tinnitus. You can actually play a low level noise to mask that annoying tinnitus sound. And there's a bunch of different sounds you can choose from. You just hit this button to turn it on or off. And then lastly, there is a live listen. You can use your phone as a remote microphone. And it actually works really, really well. If you set your phone right next to the TV speakers and turn this on, you will hear that TV clear as day. Not quite as good as a actual, streaming from the TV, but it's very helpful. And of course, you just hit the microphone and now your live listen's on. You can also use that if you're having trouble with somebody at dinner. You could just turn the live listen on, set the phone right next to the speaker that you're having trouble hearing, and boom, it'll be directly fed right into the AirPods. So that's all the quick settings. Now we're going to go through setting by setting and what you can do with these things. It's pretty cool. We're going to do that there's two different ways. Each one of these options, each one of these adjustments and features that these have can be found in multiple different menus on the iPad or on the iPhone. And that's what makes it so confusing. So we're just going to click on Brian's AirPods Pro. Another thing you can do is you can go to your Bluetooth menu. And then you can see Brian's AirPods up at the top. You can just click the eye. That's going to take you to the same spot. All right. So we're just going to do it the easy way, Brian's AirPods Pro. All right, so here you can see your battery life. You can change the name of your AirPods. This is going to allow you to change the name that shows up on your Bluetooth menu or wherever else you're going to see the name of your AirPods. And then you've got your noise control options. We talked about that a little bit before. Again, transparency is going to allow you to hear your surroundings. Noise cancellation is going to completely shut out all noise, period, everything. And it does a fantastic job. One of the coolest parts of these hearing aids. And then adaptive mode, that's going to give you kind of a dynamic control. It's going to blend both your transparency mode and your noise cancellation together. And we're just going to go through the list, all right, starting from the top to the bottom. So hearing protection. These AirPods have loud sound reduction, or what I like to call impulse noise reduction. This is basically going to help you with those loud sudden sounds, impulse sounds. What it says is loud sound reduction can actively reduce your exposure to loud environmental sounds in transparency and adaptive modes. So it's basically like impulse noise reduction. It's really cool. And then ear tip fit test. This gives you a way to make sure that you're wearing the right tips, the right size. Basically, it's going to play a sound and it's going to measure how much of that sound is leaking out of the ear canal. So you want to make sure you do that and get a good result. And it's going to tell you. It'll tell you what's going on. Hearing assistance, that's where you're going to be able to turn the hearing aid mode on or off. And in here, you'll find various adjustments for the hearing aid mode. So you click on adjustments, you can control the amplification. Again, that's in that quick menu that you can do, but this is one of the 10 different places you can find this option. Balance, you're probably not going to be really messing around with that. Once you do your hearing test, each hearing aid will be adjusted for the specific ear. So if your left is worse than the right, your left earbud is going to offer more amplification than the other. Another place where you can change the tone from darker or brighter, or low end sound to high end sound, or low frequency and then higher frequency. And then again, like everything else, there's another noise reduction option here. You can find this in various different menus. And then again, conversation boost, you can read it right here. It focuses your AirPods on the person talking in front of you, making it easier to hear in a face-to-face conversation. So it's basically a front focus mode. All right, and then of course you can reset everything if you want down at the bottom. Another option that you can find down here is update hearing test results. These are different hearing tests that I've done, and these are different audiograms that I've manually entered. And you can also add another one. So if you click add hearing test result, you can either scan your audiogram. It doesn't do a very good job with that, or you can add your thresholds in manually. And again, you can find that in the video. I'll have it in the description if you guys want to check that out. And then there's about hearing aid, where it will tell you, the iPhone version, it'll tell you the AirPod Pro version and all that fun stuff. Now, if you keep going down, you can change your call controls. This is going to give you the option to select what you want to do to answer the call, whether it's a press once, press twice, etc. And one of the really cool features, I think this is awesome. A lot of people have been complaining about it online, but it's called conversation awareness. So if you're listening to music, okay, and somebody comes up and starts talking to you, as soon as you start talking, it will turn down the volume of whatever you're listening to, whether it's music, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video. As soon as you start talking and it detects your voice, it'll automatically turn that down. Now, a couple people have complained about this. Number one, it doesn't actually pause your media that's playing it. So if you're listening to an audiobook, or you're listening to a YouTube video, or listening to a song, and you start having a conversation with somebody, it's going to keep playing that media. It's not going to pause it. So you may have to go back to hear that part you missed, because it doesn't pause it. It just turns it down. And another thing people complain about is it doesn't detect when other people are talking to you. So it doesn't turn it down when someone else starts talking to you, only when you start talking. It only detects your voice. But this is a very cool feature I would love to see in hearing aids. And on top of turning down your media volume, it's also going to apply background noise reduction at the same time, so you can hear that person better. But nobody's happy. Everybody's got to complain about something. Once they develop this, it'll be, I think, a game changer. If that wasn't enough, there's also a Find My AirPod feature. If you click on that, it'll show you where your AirPods are at on a map. Now, if your AirPods or your case is in your house somewhere, you can actually hit play sound, and your case will start beeping, letting you know where it's at, whether it's under the couch or whatever. No other hearing aids have that option. This is really, really cool, and another thing I would like to see in real prescription hearing aids. With prescription hearing aids, yeah, it shows you where they're at on a map the last time they were connected to your phone. With this, you can actually page your AirPod case. Really, really cool. If you're nearby your case, let's say your case is, somewhere in your house, you can actually click on Find Nearby, and it will show you where it's at. So my case is pretty close to me. It's on my desk. I'm going to move it to the right, and it says item is moving. If I move my phone to the right, it'll show that's where the case is. Boom. It's very, very nearby. So unlike prescription hearing aids, you can actually pinpoint exactly where they're at. An awesome feature. And that's pretty much it, guys. A lot of great options. There are a lot of them. And again, each option is in about 10 different places on your phone. So if they can just give us a dedicated app that groups everything in one spot and just much, much easier to use, I think that would be great. These have a lot of things that other hearing aids don't have, and prescription brands out there are really going to have to step up their game if they want to stay relevant, because once Apple decides to make a dedicated hearing aid, I think it's going to change everything. And if they can keep the price around what these are, I don't think you're going to ever have to choose another hearing aid. I don't think you're ever going to have to choose between good sound quality and nice features or something that you can actually afford. This is going to be a game changer. So we went through all that. Yeah, these things are great, but all this stuff for just $200 seems too good to be real, right? Well, it is. These aren't perfect. there are some drawbacks. So the first limitation I would have to say is battery life. You guys probably already know this. Traditional hearing aids are designed to last all day, anywhere from 18 to 20 hours for most models, and some prescription hearing aids can go even further. For example, hearing aids from WS Audiology brands like Rexton, Signia, Miracle Ear, and True Hearing can provide up to 35 hours on a single charge. Unfortunately, this is where the AirPods fall short. You're looking at about 4 to 5 hours of use per charge. While the case does double as a portable charger and can give you an additional 3 to 4 hours, it's just not ideal to have to recharge them throughout the day. If you're planning to use these as your main hearing aid, this is definitely something to consider. Another limitation is the amplification. Prescription hearing aids can provide enough amplification for profound hearing loss, with maximum outputs exceeding 130 decibels, loud enough to meet even the most severe needs. Okay. Over-the-counter hearing aids, on the other hand, are only intended for mild to moderate loss. But when it comes to these AirPods, I'd say they're only suitable for mild loss. If you have a moderate or greater loss, the amplification simply just won't be enough. Most OTC hearing aids that I've tested max out at 35 decibels of full-on gain. That means you have the volume set to the maximum, and when it's set to the max, the maximum volume is 35 dB. I'd estimate the AirPod Pro 2s to be somewhere around 20 to 25 decibels of gain. Let me give you a couple of comparisons, all right? So the Here Beyond, one of my favorite OTCs, can go up to 35 dB FOG, full-on gain. The Linner Mercury, it's another RIC style hearing aid, 30 dB, full-on gain. And then the Sennheiser All Day Clear from Sonova, a major prescription hearing aid manufacturer, they can go up to 34 dB of full-on gain. I've looked everywhere. I haven't been able to find an official full-on gain specification for the AirPods Pro 2 version. However, based on my testing, I can tell you that they're definitely on the lower end. For someone with a mild high-frequency loss like mine, they help and they do sound fantastic, but they won't work for everyone. Another drawback is occlusion. With the AirPod Pro 2s, they're fully occluding. If you followed my channel, you've heard me talk about this issue with a lot of over-the-counter hearing aids. One of the most popular styles of hearing aids today is the RIC, receiver in the canal. These are often designed as open-fit hearing aids, meaning they don't completely seal off the ear canal. Instead, they use open domes, which are basically just tips with holes that allow airflow and prevent that plugged-up feeling. When your ear canal is fully sealed, it can cause the occlusion effect. Your own voice sounds louder and really boomy, which can make wearing a hearing aid all day uncomfortable, especially for people like me with a mild high-frequency hearing loss. Now, these AirPod Pro 2s are fully occluding, but surprisingly, somehow the occlusion just didn't bother me as much as I expected. I was able to wear them for the full 4 to 5 hours without any discomfort, which is really unusual for me. I can't even explain why. Maybe one of you smarter folks can enlighten me in the comments. I don't know. It just didn't bother me like it normally does with all the other fully occluding hearing aids I've worn. Another drawback is the lack of a dedicated app for the hearing aid functions. While you can adjust the settings on the iPhone, the options are scattered across all kinds of different menus, making the setup and the customization super confusing and convoluted. As somebody who explains apps and streaming to people every day, I'd love to see Apple develop a user-friendly app for these. And here's a suggestion for all hearing aid app developers, all of you guys. Create 2 modes in your apps, simple and advanced. So, simple mode, make this for users who just want to adjust the basics, volume, and maybe change programs. And then the advanced mode for the audio geeks and the audio engineers, you fitters know who I'm talking about, and all the people who want full control over every detail. This would be a game changer for usability. Apple, if you're reading this, please make this happen. You guys can thank me later. Now, another limitation is that these AirPods require an iPhone to use as hearing aids. While the compatibility and the features are fantastic, you're locked into the Apple ecosystem. And there are people out there, I don't get it. There are people, well, I do get it. There's people out there that hate Apple, absolutely hate it. I was one of those people, guys. I hated Apple because back in the day, I wanted to be able to take my music, plug in my MP3 player, and just drag and drop the music from my computer that I downloaded illegally right in to my MP3 player. And you could do that with any MP3 player, but not the iPod. Nope. You had to download iTunes. You had to make an account. And even then, you had to sync the whole... I mean, it was insane. I just want to take music, put them on my MP3 player. Guys, I get it. It sucks. Proprietary to the max. I hate proprietary. But if you're wearing hearing aids, you got to make the switch. All right? And you'll be glad that you did. The Apple products are amazing. I tell people all the time because they'll tell me, well, I'm used to Android. I don't know how to use an iPhone. It's completely different. You know what I tell them? I say, okay, let me see your phone. All right, here's your phone. Show me what you have to do to check your email. And they'll click on their email icon. Then, and you know what I do? I show them my iPhone and I say, look what I have to do. Click, there's my email. I ask them, how do you go on the internet on your phone? And they'll say, oh, I go right here. I say, check this out. Boom, internet. It is the same exact thing, folks. Make the switch. Or continue having problems after problem after problem because, well, we've already gone there. Anyway, moving on. One more issue, it's not huge, but it is an issue nonetheless, is the perception as headphones. These look like headphones, and for now, that's a problem. When I wore these at work, my boss immediately told me you can't wear those. Many workplaces like mine have policies posted, pictures that prohibit headphones like AirPods because, you know, there's fork trucks driving by. So right now, most people just don't realize that these can function as hearing aids. They assume you're just listening to music or a podcast. So while I can't wear these openly at work, at least not when the bosses are around, I'm hopeful that as awareness grows, this perception will change. So you guys are probably wondering, well, who would be a good candidate for these? Who are these actually for? Someone with mild to moderate hearing loss who wants help hearing, but also needs top-notch streaming quality. Also music lovers who want hearing aids that double as incredible headphones. And anyone who needs reliable phone call performance, especially in noisy environments. And lastly, even as a backup hearing aid for someone who already has prescription hearing aids, these would be an awesome option. While the amplification isn't as strong as traditional hearing aids and the battery life may not last all day, these are still an incredible value for $200. Bottom line, if you're even considering trying the Apple AirPods, I am genuinely excited for you guys to experience the noise cancellation. It is a game changer. Now, we're going to get into the serious stuff, all right, guys? As somebody with hearing loss myself, I know how life-changing it is to shut out the noise and hear clearly whether I'm enjoying a podcast or catching up on a YouTube video or having a conversation in a busy room. In a recent video, I talked about the Hear Beyond hearing aids, which deliver amazing sound for under $500. They're $400. The point was simple. They're affordable, they work, and they filter out background noise. I feel exactly the same way about these Apple AirPods. Yes, the short battery life and lower amplification are limitations, but at just $200, these are still worth every penny. Honestly, Apple could probably charge more, and I'd still think they're a steal. And if anyone at Apple is watching this, let me say this. You guys are onto something huge here. Please keep developing this technology, or better yet, create a dedicated hearing aid. Add a bit more amplification, a longer battery life, and you'll completely revolutionize the market at this kind of price. Finally, I can't overstate how many people in the comments have told me they've switched to these, and they haven't touched their traditional hearing aids since. This is the kind of impact these devices are making, and it's incredible to see. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried the AirPods Pro 2s as hearing aids? If so, share your experience in the comments, please. Your feedback can help someone decide if these are right for them. Are you thinking about getting a pair? Well, let me know what's holding you guys back. Or maybe you found another affordable hearing aid solution that you love. If that's the case, drop your recommendation in the comments below. Let people know. That's the whole point of this channel, finding something that's actually affordable and that actually works. There's got to be more than just the Hear Beyond for $400 and the Apple AirPods Pro 2s for $200. I know there's other stuff out there. Let me know about them. I'll do a review on them. If you're a hearing aid manufacturer that can actually stand up to these or other hearing aids I've reviewed, get in contact with me. I'd love to do a review. Oh, and by the way, you guys are probably wondering, well, how much did Apple pay Brian to say all these great things? $0. Apple doesn't even know about the Hearing Club. Apple's not watching these videos. They're way too big. I went out and bought these myself, okay? Nobody's paying me to do this. And I will close with this ending statement, all right? Devices like the Apple AirPods Pro 2, are proof that hearing aid technology is evolving in ways we couldn't have imagined a few years ago. We're moving toward a future where affordability, accessibility, and innovation come together to improve the lives of millions of people. I want you guys to just for a second, imagine for a second a world where no one has to choose between great sound quality and a price they can afford. Imagine that. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's the direction we're heading. And I just want to say to all you guys, all the subscribers out there, the Hearing Club members, I'm so excited to be part of this journey with you guys, and I will be there every step of the way. All right. The more we share, the more we can help each other. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who might benefit from this information. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and let's get hearing. Bye, guys.